Jack here and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys 10 of the best Dead by Daylight perks for survivors. This isn't essentially going to be a 1, 2, 10 and 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. It's just 10 perks that I believe are really good in Dead by Daylight for a survivor that I think you guys should be running, and let's get straight into it. The first one is Borrowed Time. Now this perk honestly is a godsend in loads of situations. This is one of the perks that I see a lot of people running and people use it all the time because it's so useful. This perk allows you to get someone off the hook and give them the endurance status effect for 12 seconds. So if they get hit within 12 seconds of them being off hook, instead of them going down to the killer's hit because they'd already be injured, they get hit, they get an endurance status effect, which means they can run away from the killer and have a chance of getting away. A lot of the time the killer will go for you if they don't want to tunnel, which means that that person's 12 seconds is kind of wasted, but if they do try and tunnel and go for that person, it's definitely useful. This helps in tunneling situations or camping situations and is really useful to run. And if you saw my video the other day where I showed you guys my perk set that I use a lot, this was in it because I love this perk so much. Next up, we have the perk Adrenaline. Now this, honestly, it's I'd say this is a 70% great perk to run in a game. Its only downside is that it only really becomes useful at the end of a game. If I just read this to you, it says, "You're fueled by unexpected energy when on the verge of escape. Instantly heal 1 health state and sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for 5 seconds. But this only works when the exit gates are powered, so you have to complete every single gen before this will work. So essentially it only becomes useful at the end of a game, which it makes it kind of one of those perks that you can run. But if it's a game where like you're always down at the end of a game, or you get hit down at the end of a game, or you get hit and injured at the end of the game, basically you'll go back to being injured or not injured at all. You'll basically go back a health state, which it can be helpful in certain situations. Say you're being chased towards the end of a game and they pop a gen and you're already injured, you'll go back to not being injured, which helps you escape. So it is definitely useful. I would say it is one of the top 10 in the game in my opinion, and that's why it's on this. Next up, I've kind of merged 4 perks into one because I feel like they are very similar perks. They're all exhaustion perks, which is why I've linked them all together. First off, it's Life. Life, I believe, is such a great perk. Allows you to jump over windows or over pallets and gain 150% running speed from your normal one for 3 seconds. Into this category as well, I've put Balanced Landing. This allows you to take a drop and effectively sprint away faster. Normally if you jump off something, you get a stall time and then you can run normally, so it slows you down and then you run normally. This will allow you to just run faster as soon as you've jumped down and won't take a slow down effect when the killer's also jumping down as well. Into this category, I've also put Dead Hard because this perk is also great. Allows you to boost forward with a action button. And then basically if the killer is throwing, say it's a huntress and she's throwing a hatchet at you, you can use E as an ability and boost forward and get away from that hatchet, and it really is useful in a lot of situations. But it can only be used once you're already injured, so it's definitely worth running this in a game. I've seen a lot of people run this, that's why it's part of the 10. Into this category of the third one that I'm basically linking a load together for this purpose, I have also put Sprint Burst. This is a meg perk, which is also great. I kind of use this a lot more than I should in game, which is why I don't often run it. Effectively, it allows you to run at 150% of your normal running speed for 3 seconds, but causes the exhausted status effect for 40 seconds. I essentially don't run this because I run a lot in game anyway, and this will automatically activate itself as soon as you sprint, so I don't run it because a lot of the time I waste it, but it is a really good perk to be running in a game. And finally, added into this list of the 5 that I've put together for this purpose is Urban Evasion. This perk allows you to move faster whilst crouching, so that if you're like, say, hiding from a killer and the killer's walking round a rock, you can go around the other side of it a lot quicker than you normally would be able to. I've added this. It's not an exhaustion perk, but I've added it because it is a really useful one to run in a game. So the ones that I've linked together, which I feel like are in the 10 that I'm saying, but I've linked them in this part as like a whole group together so that I can add them in, is Life, Balanced Landing, Dead Hard, Sprint Burst, and Urban Evasion. Now next up, we have a Nancy perk. This is called Inner Strength. This is actually a really good perk to run in the game. Basically what it allows you to do is if you break a totem in game, it allows you to then get in a locker and heal yourself 1 health state, which I think is really useful. Say you get injured in game, If you break a totem and then get in a locker, you will stay in that locker for 8 seconds. When it's purple, obviously it'll be a longer duration if it's a lower variant, but a purple one allows you to be healed within 8 seconds from injured state to then not being injured, which is really useful. Obviously it just relies on you breaking a totem in game, which you do, like you see a totem like 70% of the time in game, and you break a totem like 60% of the time. So it's a really useful perk to run. Definitely should be one of the 10 that you're running in game. Next up, I've mentioned this one a few times, we have Spine Chill. This perk is probably, in my opinion, the best in the game. It's 100% useful against stealth killers. If it's not a stealth killer, it's not as useful, but it is still great knowing if they're looking in your direction a lot. This perk allows you to see if the killer's looking in your direction. The perk will get set off and you'll be aware that he'll be looking at you. Most of the time, if the killer's looking at you in game, he's walking towards your direction, or he's chasing someone towards your direction, so it gives you like a little bit of a heads up to know where the killer is. It also gives you a boost for everything in game if the killer's looking in your direction most of the time as well. So if you're on a gen and the killer's looking at you, the gen bar will, instead of be grey, it will go yellow, and you'll be able to see you getting an increase, but obviously you need to watch out on that a lot, because most of the time, like I said, if the killer is looking in your direction, 90% of the time they're going to be running towards your gen that you're on. So it's definitely useful to know that against stealth killers that don't have a terror radius, like Ghostface and Mike Myers and Freddy, these when he's in dream state. Next up, we have a perk called Will Make It. This perk is really, really useful. I feel like I've said that a lot, but this perk is great to run in game. It allows you to get 100% speed increase when you're healing other players once you've got them off a hook. So this becomes really useful in the sense of, like, say you unhook someone, you can then heal them 100% quicker than what you normally would, and it's really useful because if the killer decides to come back, you can normally get a heal in before the killer comes back into the direction that they're going in. So it's definitely useful for that. You could run this with borrowed time and again get someone off hook. They could take a hit if this doesn't work out like you want it to, but it's definitely a good perk to run. Next up, we have Kindred. Now this is an awesome perk to run in solo queuing. I've added it into the 10 because I believe it's definitely useful in game, but it's not as useful if you're like a 4-man team. This allows you to see the auras of everyone in game once you've been hooked, so you can see if anyone's going to get you. This also works that if you're running the perk, everyone in the game will also see those people's auras, which is really helpful in solo queuing because obviously there's no communication, so you can rely on where people are in game due to having Kindred on. Next up, we have Iron Will. Now, I only have this as a yellow as arena because I've only recently unlocked it. This is a Jake Park perk, and if it's purple, it allows you to reduce your injured sounds and pains of grunt by 100%. Obviously, because I've only got it yellow at the moment, it's only 50%. When it's green, it will go 75%, and then when it's purple, it'll be 100%. So you'll make no noise at all when you're injured. This perk is a godsend when you're playing against killers, like Spirit, as long as she's not running Strider, because obviously she'll be able to hear your grunts of pain a lot more. But any other killer, or even Spirit without Strider, this is really useful one, because a lot of killers, especially me playing killer every now and again, rely on noises of pain and where people are due to their pain sounds a lot, and with Iron Will you don't hear that, so it's definitely useful for that. Jake Park perk, get it, easy to use, literally will help you so much in a game, and honestly a great addition to the 10. Next up, we have Bond. This allows you to see the auras of everyone in game as long as you're within 20 meters range. Now this is because it's yellow, it's at 20 meters. I don't actually know what that means, if it's a green or purple, what it reduces by, but I'll try and put some info on screen about it for you guys and let you know how much it is when it is a better perk, because at the moment I've only got it as a yellow. This is a Dwight perk, which basically it means, it may not sound like a lot, like, oh really, you needing to know where your other players are in game, that's kind of awful. If you're like I said, if you're solo queuing, this is really useful because you can see where everyone is. So most of the time, if you're within 20 meters of range and someone's being chased, you can see them being chased, so you know the direction of where the killer is, so it becomes really useful for that. Obviously, you can also run towards a gen and see there's someone on it and help them out, or notice that there's 2 people on a gen together, so go to a different one or maybe help them out. It's definitely just one of those like information-based perks that really helps you out on knowing where your teammates are. The last one I've added in is Unbreakable. Now this is a Bill perk, and basically what it does is it allows you to get up off the floor once per game once you're on dying state. So as long as the killer slugs you and leaves you on the ground and goes for someone else long enough for you to get up, basically it can save you in a game. Say you get attacked by the killer, they hit you at last point of the game, they hit you, okay? The gates are open, you're on the floor. You can either choose to crawl out, but if you're too far away from the gate to be able to crawl out, you can use this unbreakable, most of the time it's already been used by then, but if you haven't used it in this situation, I'm going to pretend I haven't, but you can use this to get yourself up off the ground and then run towards the gate and get out. It can really help you in a game in terms of, like, it could be that you could all go down and then at that point the game's ended, but if someone's running unbreakable, it gives you more of a chance of getting off the hook, because this person could get up with unbreakable and then get you off the hook and you could both escape. So it basically recovers you from the dying state, and it really does help in certain situations. But yeah, there we go, guys. Those are, in my opinion, the 10 perks that you guys should definitely consider running on Dead by Daylight playing Survivor. If I've missed any out that you guys run a lot and you want me to basically look through and maybe update this in the future, or maybe add like 5 in or something that I've missed and do like a 15 best perks or something like that, then let me know. Also, I kind of really want to do one of these for Killer as well, but I don't play Killer that often, so I don't have a lot of the perks. My Killer rank is a rank 10, and I really don't play Killer often, so I don't have a lot of perks for Killer. So if you guys could suggest some perks in the comment section below as to the best ones for Killer to use, then make sure to do that in the comments. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, if you did, make sure to smash a like. If this helped you out in any way, let me know, and I will see you next time for another video. Peace.